Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello.
And today we're talking about volume 24 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Over in Japan, I believe the final chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen came out just before we released our previous volume discussion, if I'm
Ah,
not mistaken. But it was I think that was just after we had recorded it. So when we recorded the previous one, it hadn't yet ended, if I remember this correctly. So anyway, it has ended now
mm-hmm.
in Japan, and I expect the English physical volumes will catch up to the end at some point next year. Seems pretty safe
Yeah,
to say, I think.
I think that's fair.
Volume 24 starts with the military from various other countries arriving at the culling game, and with that, the bomb has been dropped, as Reggie Starr foretold a few volumes back.
Metaphorically.
Precisely, the metaphorical bomb. And then the group adds a new rule to the culling game, allowing players to leave the game by expending 100 points to invite a new player as a substitute. So it's a pretty rough rule, but it's the best deal they could get. Then Yorozu, in the body of Megumi's sister Tsumiki, adds another rule, allowing players to cross colony borders freely. Sukuna then chanted Enchain, finally, to take control of Yuji for a minute. And during that little minute, he ripped off one of his fingers and fed it to Megumi and was thus able to possess Megumi.
Yum.
Yum indeed. And so they fought Sukuna, who's now in Megumi's body. And that fight ended with Uraume freezing Sukuna's opponents, and they got away. And the volume ends with Sukuna and Yorozu starting a fight between each other, and Yorozu revealing her cursed technique. So yeah, I thought there was the second half of this volume just kind of flew by for me. The first half had a little bit more kind of, I guess, talking and whatnot, but yeah, the second half was very, very action heavy and just very much just flew by.
A lot happened, but you're right. The first half or so was a lot of exposition, kind of explaining the rules, etc., etc. And then Skuna gets out and it just speeds up lightning fast.
Yeah, hell breaks loose.
It really does feel like we're getting close to the end. I mean,
Yeah.
you could argue we were already feeling that way, but with Skuna loose like this, unless they somehow capture him again, or it's hard for me to think that Skuna's gonna get captured again. I think that he'll be out and he'll be like this until Endgame.
Yeah,
In my
more or
mind.
less, I think so as well. So yeah, very exciting. So without further ado, let's dive into these characters and talk about them. And let's start with Ryomen Sukuna. His plan finally came true, or came to fruition, when he successfully managed to get control of Megumi, as seems to have been his plan since quite far back. We obviously didn't know exactly what he was after, but we knew he wanted something from Megumi, and it seems like it was this, because he sensed that he could somehow sense that Megumi would be able to withstand him without dying,
Mm-hmm.
but not be able to restrain him like Yuji is able to.
For some reason.
Precisely, yeah. Yuji is a very special case like that. But I wonder if this also means that Sukuna can, if he wants to, even though I guess there isn't much reason to, but if he would want to, could he switch over to being in Yuji's body now if he wanted to do that? Probably, since Yuji technically still has 15 fingers inside of him.
Yeah.
But but there wouldn't be much reason for Sukuna to want to do that anyway, because then he would just be restrained by Yuji's body, because Yuji can do that.
Right.
So he would
Right.
probably want to stay
That's a good point.
in Megumi's body regardless of whether he can switch or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I don't I could see there being a future where he has to do that for whatever reason, but
Mm,
I don't see that happening yet.
right.
I think that'll have to be a plan in the back of his mind type of a thing.
Mm.
Um, Surely Yuji couldn't pull him back into his body, right? I guess you never
Hmm.
know, but
That's
could that
interesting.
could that happen?
I guess. Oh, I mean, just a spontaneous thought. Like, if Yuji would find the remaining 5 fingers and eat them, then may obviously I don't know for sure, but like just the thought that if that would like somehow attract Sukuna to him because he has so many fingers at that point, so then Sukuna would have to reside within Yuji. I don't know,
Interesting.
but 5 fingers still remain.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it as we were worried in the before, it feels like the finger things is almost an afterthought.
Yeah.
It's the 5 fingers. It's like, oh,
Mm.
he eats them. Okay, so what? I mean, if something were to happen, that would make it relevant. But at this point, it doesn't seem like it matters at all because he's already out.
Yeah, precisely. It's weird because right, if they would find the remaining 5 fingers and make sure Yuji has eaten all of the old 20 fingers, and then they execute Yuji to permanently get rid of those 20 fingers, there is still one Sukuna finger inside of Megumi now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the workaround for that is because it's just Yuji's fingers that he used and not his own.
Oh.
That he's still connected to Yuji in some way.
Right, maybe it's not as powerful as an actual Sukuna finger, maybe.
Yeah, and so if Yuji eats all the fingers and then they kill him, maybe that would kill Sukuna as well.
Mm,
Um,
could be.
but I don't know.
Because it looked like when Sukuna took control of Yuji's body, and just before he ripped the finger off, it looked like he kind of transformed the finger on Yuji's hand into a Sukuna finger.
Oh, really?
And then he ripped it off.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It looked like, because the finger looked different already before it was ripped off. So I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if that makes it equally much a Sukuna finger as all the others, or if it is somehow less strong, or whatever you want to say.
Uh-huh. Let me see. I'm just going back because I definitely missed that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're right. It does seem like he does something to his finger there.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't think about that. Good point. So does that mean that's a 21st finger, or
Right.
is that one of the fingers that was in Yuji's body?
Oh, that's an interesting thought too. Yeah. We have no way of knowing, I think, but
No, I mean, honestly, it's hard to expect what's going to happen with this manga aside from there's going to be action and yeah, all hell will break loose. But in some cases that's enjoyable, but in other cases it is a little frustrating that we're kind of in the dark exactly what's going to go down. But that's fine.
Yeah. This is, I think, another constant with this manga is that there will be confusion, like on various things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll save my gripes for when the manga ends, I guess. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
For sure, it's not as clear as I would like it to be. So after the battle with Yuji, Sukuna and Uraume make their escape, and they go into the bath. The bath is this ritual that I guess, long story short, suppresses Megumi down and brings out the evil, in Sukuna and gives him more control.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he wants to keep Megumi's face. It's better for fighting sorcerers. Why? I don't understand that one quite.
I read that as kind of a similar thing as how he was able to attack Hana, the angel. Is like, since a lot of the sorcerers have a connection or kind of a relationship to Megumi, they are kind of, in some cases, they're less inclined to harm him if he looks that way. At least that's how I read it.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be that way, but I think that makes the most sense, I guess, out of what it could be.
And I thought that as well, but he's not. I don't know. He's not fighting them at this moment. But then again, I guess you don't know in the he probably expects to fight them later on, so maybe he's just
Hmm.
keeping it because maybe he can't go back. I don't know. I mean, couldn't he just go back and forth if he wanted to? But maybe that's too
Yeah,
much energy, or maybe it's just pointless.
there was something when he was talking with Yorozu near the end of the volume, or at least well, at some point, if it was before they started fighting or at the start of their fight, while they were talking, there was something I can't remember exactly though that made it seem to me like if they would change their face away from that body's face, they won't be able to change it back. But
Oh,
that could have been me misinterpreting. I don't think they outright said it, but it was just a feeling I got from something that someone said.
oh, interesting,
Oh yeah. It
interesting.
was this. Sukuna says, "Yorozu, the same goes for you." After she remarked about his face,
Right.
and then she responds, "Yes, but we both think this will work better later." Which got me thinking that she can't change back to it later if she changes away from it now. But yeah, again, it's not super clear.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a question about that comment too. What's the later? Like
Yeah,
what are they waiting for in
that's yeah.
that instance? Why wouldn't you say it works better for now instead of later? Like what does it matter? It's
I don't know.
does that make sense now
Maybe
versus
she
later?
thinks she can continue to trick people into thinking that she's still the regular Tsumiki.
Yeah, but she has a plan for later.
Yeah.
I guess yeah, maybe trick, but what I mean, wouldn't you be still be tricking people now? I don't know. Anyway, uh
Yeah.
interested to see if that brings anything to the story, but I don't know, just thought I mention it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And in addition to the bath, which by the way will take 10 months and 10 days to complete, um, and another thing
But
that
it's already been done though.
was it though? Like I didn't understand that. Has
Yeah.
10 months passed? Was that the implication?
Yeah, Uraume has been doing it for 10 months, I believe.
But doesn't he need to soak in it for 10 months and 10 days? Or did I misunderstand?
I think you have to prepare it for
Oh, that's
that
what.
long, right?
Oh, I guess that would make sense if that's the case. Yeah, maybe I just misinterpreted.
I thought that was what it was.
That I hope
Again, it was like
so.
a wall of text, so it's like,
Uh,
oh no,
it means 10 months
the
and 10
dreaded wall of
days
text.
of soaking in the of soaking the vessel in a solution with cursed energy obtained by crushing blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, soaking the vessel in the bath seems to be the implication for that amount of time.
Let's see.
And sure, it could have been the case that 10 months and 10 days just kind of passed here in those
Oh, I don't
pages.
think no.
But
No, it's not 10 months.
yeah,
10
I
months has
don't
not
think so
passed.
either. It would be weird. Well, yeah, actually, no, it doesn't make sense if that is the case.
So the ritual is supposed to be turning a vessel into a cursed tool. And so I think she took all of those cursed spirits and did that process for 10 months, and that became the water that used the bath water and everything. So
But isn't Megumi's body the vessel in this case?
no, I think it's just two different instances of using that word. I think
What is the vessel here, you think, then?
all the cursed spirits
Hmm.
that she's collected over the time.
I don't read it that way, and I don't think I can. but but
But it doesn't make sense otherwise.
well, no, because I guess what the way I read it is that it requires him to soak in it for that long, but he's like doing it in a little bit at a time. He's like soaking like a day, then he's going out, and then he can continue. And like if it adds up to 10 months and 10 days, then he will have completed the ritual.
Oh, okay.
I guess that could work, but yeah, I don't know. Like he doesn't have to do it all in one go. But maybe the next volume will make that clearer.
I think I agree with you now, because I think on first read it sounds like 10 months and 10 days straight, but it doesn't say straight or exact. So maybe it could be a process of just like you said, one like just once every day for 10 months and 10 days.
Right, could be that.
Soak in it and then come out, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So wait, so is the story going to go on for 10 months and 10 days now?
Yeah, that's another thing I was
could.
thinking about. I was going to bring it up in prediction, but since we're on it, and I don't think it will. I don't think the story will continue for that long. And if it does, it's not going to be because of the bath. I guess my bottom line is that I don't think Sukuna will get the pleasure of completing his bath process.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I agree with that. And it now makes more sense to me. Forgive me for my previous interpretation.
Oh, that's all good.
It didn't make sense at 10 months and 10 days. There's no way that time had passed. So I assume that that's just how long Urume had been. Because she had been collecting cursed spirits, like chopping off their bodies. So I assume it would just have been a 10-month, 10-day process, but that's not the case.
But anyway, what I was going to get to is, in addition to the bath helping Sukuna to gain more control over his body, he also seeks to kill Yorozu, because he thinks that destroying Tsumiki's body will make it easier for him to control Megumi as well. So there's a couple different methods now at play in terms for Sukuna to gain more control.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're having these two methods. I guess he's thorough, if anything, but I don't know. I almost feel the bath is pointless, and it's just this random cool thing that Akatani had. It's like, wow, wouldn't that be really creepy and cool? Yeah, let's put that in there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be critical, but we don't have to put every cool idea we have into this if it's not really going to add much to the story.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I did have like one kind of pass by thought, which I forgot to note down, but I'll mention it. Is that it's not a big thing, and it's not something that I necessarily believe in, but I had the thought that maybe the bath itself doesn't make it easier for Sukuna to control Megumi, but rather the bath helps him come up with ideas that will help him control the body easier, such as this idea of destroying Tsumiki's body. So like that's why he came out of the bath and decided to go do that, and then he goes back, soaks some more, comes up with something else that will help him. I don't know.
Maybe. It does say that it brings you closer to evil, and I guess those are evil thoughts.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like just drink some, carrot juice or something to get your brain going. I think you'd be good.
Yeah.
That'll help you come up with, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting. I guess we'll see if both of these leads to anything. I personally, the more interesting one obviously is the Tsumiki Yorozu aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think Sukuna's playing with fire when he's doing that, because sure, if it goes one way, it could be super detrimental to Megumi's spirit and, crush it for good.
Mm.
The other hand, it could fire him up. Maybe he fights back and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sukuna, being the cursed person he is, I'm sure he has all confidence that it's all going to go according to his plan. But, the hubris of the villains is usually their downfall.
For sure. That's all on Sukuna?
I think so. I might. Some things might come up, but they'll deal with other characters though.
Sounds good. Then, actually, next let's talk a bit about Tsumiki Fushiguro, or Yorozu, whose name I still struggle with remembering exactly the syllables of. First of all, I think it's so sad that Megumi had just completely was under the assumption that his sister would have, you know, that she would have been like awakened or whatever he said. Like basically, she wouldn't have another old sorcerer inside of her.
Right.
He had like completely overlooked that possibility completely. So it was very sad to see his reaction to that.
Yeah.
But it was a possibility that you and I definitely speculated about a few volumes back, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had kind of doubted it because we had heard nothing about it yet.
Mm.
And especially how it was built up to the reveal, it felt like, oh, okay, I guess it's all good. So it was. I still thought it was a great reveal. I actually think that's one of the highlights of this volume is that moment
Yeah.
where she changed the rules and she has that smile on her face.
Yeah, it's very good.
It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. We were speculating that could definitely have been the case.
Yeah. And so this Yorozu who is possessing her body is an old sorcerer from 1,000 years ago. And I thought it was interesting also to learn that several of the main characters had already been in touch with Tsumiki recently, which was kind of left out of the manga until the flashback that we got in this volume. Which, I don't know, for some reason I hadn't exactly expected that.
Yeah.
Of course, it was nice to get Tsumiki into the story here, because it's something we've been anticipating for ages, but in a way she was already sort of in it for the characters anyway. They had already kind of talked with her.
Yeah. They were trying to protect her, things like that. I mean, it's nice of them to help out Megumi like that, even though the entire or the rest of Japan's kind of in chaos. Although sometimes I don't know if Japan's in chaos because there's some shots of whatever was happening with the merging of Tengen or whatever. There's some shots of people just being normal, like being on their laptops or just doing things. No sign of, oh, the world's ending or Japan is in dire straits. They're just like la 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 la, which I guess not my town, not my problem.
I guess, yeah.
It was kind of funny to see that. Anyway, no, they did Megumi a huge solid by taking care of Tsumiki and making sure they tried to help her, even though she had already been possessed. So I mean, kudos to Yorozu. I mean, maybe she was just hiding the whole time, or was she was acting? Was it an act? Was she acting like Tsumiki, or yeah, that's what it was. Right?
I'm quite sure, yeah, because as far as I know, she can't like switch who's in control or anything like that. As far as I am aware, like she is Yorozu, and yeah, she must have been acting.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well done.
Sucks. I mean. Yeah. Well done. Well done. I mean, the biggest kind of attribute characteristic of Yorozu is her infatuation with Sukuna.
Yeah.
It seems. And it's a very contradictory love, where she says, "If I beat you, and by beat you I mean kill you, you have to marry me." And obviously Sukuna's like, that doesn't make any sense. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
It's like, or you can do it, or actually he says, whatever, it's fine with me. You can do whatever you want with a corpse.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, oh, okay.
And that was interesting too, actually, how it didn't seem like he was like, I guess, considering her defeating him as an impossibility. Like, I don't know. Like
yeah.
Sometimes you see like cocky villains like Sukuna be like, I guess imply things like, there's no way you can ever take me down. But he didn't like deny that possibility necessarily. He was like, if you beat me, I'll be dead, and you may do with me whatever you like because I'll be dead. So I thought that was interesting.
That's true.
Like, he probably knows that she is really powerful.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why he's toying with her, keeping her around. You're not toying with someone who's on the same level. I get it. But I think he's using her as a perfect opportunity to test something out, as he teases at the very end of the volume.
Yeah.
clearly he's going to whip out what's his name, Mahoraga, because of that wheel thing that's in the air. Isn't that Mahoraga's wheel?
Oh, I don't know.
The 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 demon or spirit, I forget what they're called, that Megami conjured up in Shibuya art.
Oh yeah. Oof, I've forgotten the names of things.
At least I'm pretty sure that's the same wheel. Maybe the wheel is not having to do with it, but I could have sworn that the thing about Mahoraga was that the wheel. Actually, I can't remember all its powers, but the wheel had something to do with it, like changing the course of luck or something or other. Anyway, so yeah, there's definitely a reason to keep her around for that, but I guess he's willing to potentially die if that's the case. But he's always been pretty good at understanding where people's power levels are. Gosh, it's been so long. Jogo, like with Jogo, that was his name. Like, he fought him, but he knew like you can't possibly compare to me even at this state. But I'm pretty sure he understands that Gojo is someone to be feared.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not now, but if he was out and about.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he has a good understanding. So that's a great point. And so maybe Yorozu is just as powerful. Although to be fair, it's under the implication that Sukuna is not quite at his peak performance in his current condition.
Yeah.
Still trying to lower down, or still trying to push Megami down. But
yeah, I mean, I've no doubt that Sukuna at his full potential, he could defeat Yorozu like without too much trouble. But currently, it might not necessarily be easy.
Yeah.
Because like Yorozu is not a famous historical character or person. Like supposedly only people from her era knew her, or she made a remark like that anyway. But Sukuna is like famous. Everyone in the Jujutsu world knows of the cursed object that is Sukuna.
But she's not into Kiki stuff.
No, she's not.
She's willing to marry a corpse.
But she's not into kinky stuff.
Not into kinky stuff.
Yeah, she's very fun.
I thought her curse technique was, as always, interesting in that you would think something called construction would, I don't know, be used in a different way. At least personally, I when I was reading it, I thought it would have been different.
Yeah. But
then it goes in the direction of creating this liquid metal armor that becomes bug-like. It looks
like an exoskeleton of sorts, I guess.
Yeah. So
it's very cool.
It's cool for sure in a way that I didn't expect just based on the name construction.
Definitely. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see this fight here.
Yeah.
Is that all on Yorozu?
I think so.
Then let's talk next about Yuji Itadori. He admitted to Megumi that he was afraid of Hana replacing Nobara.
Oh.
Which, well, first of all, yeah, it was nice to get a little bit focused on Nobara. Even though it didn't seem to lead to much. And I don't know.
He cares about her.
Exactly. It's just nice to see that she's on his mind. Huh. And yeah, I think Akutami is slightly making up for, I guess, what I felt was lacking for Nobara back when she died, and what followed shortly after it I felt was a bit lacking. But like with this, and I'm hoping for maybe something more, maybe slightly, I think they could make up for it.
Okay.
Could make up for it.
So is she for sure dead? Like that's what we're going with?
Nobara or Hana.
Well, yeah, both at this point. But no, in this instance, we're talking about Nobara.
Oh.
Because afraid that Hana would replace Nobara.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but yeah. I mean, I am assuming so based on everything, but hell, it would be a twist to me if she turns out to be alive.
yeah, same for me. I think this kind of indicates that she's dead, right?
Right.
Like that she's gone. She's not coming back.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's still not great to think about.
No.
I mean, I personally think he still tried to make it a decent send off, but you know, there was a lot of shock value behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and wish we could have seen some sort of funeral or some sort of send
Right.
off or something.
Exactly. Something to honor her
Um,
memory properly. Like she deserved that.
yeah, yeah, like a Viking funeral. Not just kidding.
Exactly.
But no,
Yeah.
I agree with you
Mm.
there, but at least like we were saying, she's on his mind.
Yeah.
He gets absolutely wrecked by Sukuna that first punch,
He
but he fights back
did.
well,
Yeah.
like really well.
It was nice to see that he got like for Yuji to finally get a chance to fight Sukuna himself, since obviously he hasn't been
Yeah,
able to do that before since they've shared a body, but now he's actually been able to fight him, which I think is nice for Yuji in a way. But yeah, he did get severely bruised,
yeah,
and he did rather well in the fight. I'd say, all things considered.
right.
And it's actually something that I thought of as well, but I forgot to note down, is that Yuji, at least initially in the story, well, he always had the super strength, but he struggled with cursed energy control and whatnot.
Yeah,
And it seemed like the implication was that he got cursed energy control of some sort, thanks to having Sukuna inside of him, at least initially. But
hmm
then I guess just because he's been training it so diligently, he still is able to control it, even though Sukuna may not be in him anymore. Or well, the fingers still are though. To oh yeah, so I guess maybe nothing changed for him necessarily. Hmm.
he still had that super ish strength uh, from the original, so that's a good point to bring up. From the get go. So I just
Hmm.
I don't know how that ties into to everything, and
Yeah.
it's I assume it's not on the same level of Maki. I had speculated in the past that maybe they were similar, but it seems that's certainly not the case. So I really don't know what to make of that abnormal strength that he had to begin with.
Yeah. Sukuna remarked that Yuji is a product of Kenjaku
Right.
and that whole thing. And and he thinks that's gross. Like
Yeah.
like
Well, I mean,
Sukuna thinks that is gross, and if Sukuna thinks it's gross, then you know it's freaking gross.
well, yeah.
That guy bathes in curses and venom and shit.
I I mean I mean I agree with him.
Yes.
The man is Yuji's mother at the same time as all that. So I don't know, like
Yeah.
that like maybe he's grossed out by that. I
Understandable.
don't know.
But yeah, like Yuji's whole thing, surely we'll learn more about, and it is, I mean, pretty safe to say that it is all somehow related to, or maybe not all actually, but it is largely related to Kenjaku's intervention as his mother and
Right.
whatnot. But there seems to also be something else, maybe.
Well, what I wanted to say before that is he mentions that Yuji's actually someone from the past. What what does that mean? Eh,
Well, he didn't use the word
Is his
past,
does his
right?
power?
He said some,
I thought he did.
or but there was something like that
Oh,
though.
sorry.
Let me double check as
Maybe
well.
I wrote it wrong. I probably did.
Well, sometimes our translations differ a bit. In mine, he says, "I get it. The boy is from that time,"
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But let me go back.
which could imply the past, or well, it does on some
Yeah.
level.
I
Um,
mean, it's got to apply the past, right?
yeah, probably.
But but then I don't know. I just don't know what it means.
Yeah, no, it's very cryptic. uh, yeah, yeah, it's weird.
Like, I guess you could argue the boy is from that time. Like, maybe he's thinking of a specific instance that something happened,
Hmm.
and he's like, oh, he's a product of that.
Like that time as being Kenjaku's being a mother thing.
Bow chicka wow wow. Maybe,
Right.
but it could also be that he's from that time period,
Yeah.
which I don't get at all.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Like maybe that's somehow the power that Yuji has. His innate power comes from the past.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe there's something like he's from a certain time period and he lived because the implication is that he's a cursed womb of some sort, and the cursed, or at
Yeah.
least some of the other cursed wombs, his brothers, they were around at some point in the past, right?
I think, but actually going along with what you're saying, maybe from that time, the instance that he's thinking of is the cursed womb instance when I think when Kenjaku made all the cursed paintings or whatever. But then
Oh
again,
yeah, precisely. He did that, like, right. Creating the
would that
wombs
have
was long ago,
yeah.
but the births of the wombs, or at least these four that we've seen with Yuji, Choso, and the other two, that happened recently.
Yeah. Which I have no idea how that works
Yeah, no, that's also
with Yuji
weird. But
cuz yeah.
that, man, yeah, I've kind of forgotten about the whole, like, initial, I guess, reveal of the origin of the cursed wombs or painting wombs or whatever.
Yeah. I can see that being it. I actually can.
Yeah,
Um, but it's still cryptic enough that it could be something entirely different. But I think
yeah,
I think that's how I'll look at it for now, and maybe it'll be expanded on later.
right. Makes sense. But is that all on Yuji?
Yep.
Then let's move on to Hana Kurusu. So we got some flashbacks to her childhood where, I don't know, maybe it was supposed to be a bit unclear, or maybe it was not unclear at all, and I'm just bad at picking up things. But I felt it was a bit unclear, some of it anyway. Um, I guess she was saved by Megumi, and since she
Hmm.
saw him as such a good person, she tries to do good in the world as well. Did I understand that correctly?
I Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay, cool. I was just so confused because I don't know, I
Yeah.
felt like there was a lot of missing pieces. Not necessarily crucial pieces, but pieces nonetheless.
Well, I don't know. For me, I don't know if I call it missing. I called it jumbled, because
Mm,
because you
mm,
get bits of her backstory and then you go to the present, and then a backstory and then the present, but there's no
yeah.
really, it doesn't feel like it's flowing at all. It just suddenly, it
Uh-huh.
feels like that they're in the wrong order,
Yeah.
to me.
uh,
So I appreciate the reveal that she loves to help people and wants to help people, and how it stems to it being Megumi who saved her and her love for him and things like that. That's all good, and I did like, because how it started off with Yuji being suspicious and kind of confrontational with Hana and the angel,
mm,
and then Hana's like, "Are you talking to me?" Um,
mm,
but in reality, she does want to help people, so of course she'd be honest. But that was a good reveal.
yeah.
But it was just everything in between with her backstory was just all so jumbled and so hard to follow. I
Yeah.
had to read it a couple times, be like, okay, what is going on here? Whose perspective is this right now?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Precisely.
So
She also seems, I think, a bit strangely possessive of Megumi, at least when she screamed to Sukuna that Megumi belongs to her.
yeah,
And it's like, yeah, I get that
yeah,
he saved her, and I get that that can be like a big thing and very, like, he changed her life.
yeah.
But I don't know, man. For her to hold on to those types of feelings for years, and not really knowing
I agree.
anything about him other than that the fact that he saved her. I'm not loving that, I guess.
I don't either. I don't either. I get why he did it, because Megumi didn't recognize her
Yeah.
at all. So you can't have it be someone that's too close to him, I guess.
Right.
Maybe. But it didn't the love and infatuation did not feel warranted based on that one instance years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a mild interest
For sure.
or a thankfulness, gratitude,
Definitely.
but possessive love, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Of course, not everyone is an angel, I suppose. Oh wait, no, Hana is an angel.
Wow.
Yeah. But we all love to subvert expectations and corrupt things that are supposed to be holy, I guess. I'm not.
Yeah.
Not saying that. That's a fun writing trope. But
It
anyway.
is. Another gripe I have with her character from this volume is how easily fooled she was by Sukuna. Like, that was way, like, is she dumb? Is she that dumb? Like, she was never portrayed as that dumb before.
That dumb.
But now she's just, I don't know, being lured in like that felt stupid.
Yeah. Really stupid. Yeah, I mean, people sim for Sukuna and Megumi. Maybe it was just the double riz that got to her.
Yeah.
But no, that's it's kind of like horror movie stupid, you know?
Right.
Why would you go in there alone, or why would you do that? You know?
Definitely, yeah.
And because of that, she takes a serious bite from Sukuna.
Yeah, she does.
And now she's seemingly mortally wounded. Is she dead? Is she alive? I don't know.
That's the big question. I think I could see either, but I guess I'll touch on in the predictions.
Okay.
A little more on that.
Same.
Great. Then I guess we're leaving Hana for now.
I just wanted to mention the Michelangelo painting reference of the creation of man, or whatever it's called. The finger point, that famous painting.
Yeah.
I appreciate the humor of the reference there.
Yes.
With the angel and things like that, but it's funny.
Yeah, that was fun. Then next, let's talk a little bit about Megumi Fushiguro.
Okay.
So in my note sheet, I keep track of, or I have been keeping track of the Sukuna fingers that Yuji has consumed. And now I got to keep track of how many Megumi is consuming as well, because he's at 1 currently. And who knows if it'll be more than that.
Yeah. But as we stated, who knows if that's Yuji's finger just becoming that finger and adds to the total, or if it's a separate total, now it's a one Yuji finger.
Yeah.
Or if it's Sukuna 21 finger, or if it's just one of Sukuna fingers. Anyway, who knows?
Who knows?
Find out. Maybe never. Yeah. I mean, I actually don't have a whole lot on Megumi that we haven't already said before.
Yeah, I don't have much either. I will say I feel really bad for him. This was a rough volume for him.
Yeah.
First learning that his sister's more or less gone, and then, well, himself getting possessed by freaking Sukuna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's had better volumes, that's for sure.
He is still resisting on some level, though. He can't.
I mean, kudos to that.
Right, exactly. Even though he's not like Yuji, he can't keep Sukuna restrained completely, but he can at least drop his body's cursed energy output when Sukuna is about to harm his friends.
Yeah.
So that is something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all on Megumi, I think. Then let's talk briefly about Kenjaku. Yeah, we'll learn a little bit about his reasons for luring in the armed forces. Of so many nations. And yeah, it was to increase the cursed energy that the calling game would produce. I guess to just completely make sure that his plans would work.
Well, and Megami wonders if the Culling Games was just a smokescreen for this mass killing. You know, almost as if the Culling Games didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That being said, Kenjaku does say that he took a binding vow to create the Culling Games.
Yeah.
And it was to end something that was permanent. So I guess the point from a literary standpoint, the purpose of the Culling Games in the end was to create this binding vow. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it kind of feels like that there really isn't a purpose to the Culling Games per se. That in reality, he just needed an excuse for the military to come in and send massive amount of people, and that's what he wanted in the first place.
Right.
So it's really just an excuse, and so this whole culling aspect or the sorcerers fighting sorcerers, it really doesn't matter, and that goes back to what's his name talking about the bomb, about the actual purpose.
Yeah, Reggie.
The
Yeah.
bomb, Reggie. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It is a bit unclear. I see what you mean. I could also see it being necessary with the games themselves, though, because maybe killing these foreign nations' armed forces wouldn't have been enough by themselves. Like maybe they would have needed to have a game where a bunch of sorcerers and whatnot would kill each other too. But I guess it's unclear.
I mean, it seems like that the sorcerers killing themselves wouldn't have been enough anyway.
Right. Or at least not necessarily.
Mm-hmm. I guess we got some good action out of it.
Right.
He took a binding vow to create the Culling Games. And so he hints that what that vow was, and that was to end what was permanent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what that could mean.
Yeah.
Could it mean ending Tengen? But I definitely don't think it's Kenjaku's life himself. I mean, you could argue, because he's able to transfer brains, he's permanent in that case. But I don't think he'd want to sacrifice himself. That would take the fun out of it for him because he wants to see the product, right?
I would think so.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to think what could he take away that's permanent? What could he end? I guess I should say. And I'm just not sure.
Yeah, same here.
Gravity, like a law of the world, of the universe.
Precisely, like it sounds like it could be
that.
something like that, like like our existence, maybe. Like I don't know. Or he's like somehow against Sukuna, who in a way is permanent. That could be interesting.
Yeah, maybe that's why he doesn't tell Uraume exactly what it is. So that'd be interesting if there's a Kenjaku Sukuna fight.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe he's deemed as permanent in this case.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting to learn what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other characters you want to talk about?
Just I gotta give a shout out to Takaba trying to just derail everything with his comedy. I just love his last page moment. I'm the final panel.
Yeah.
I mean, that was funny. I appreciate the comedy, but it almost feels like Akutami is like, I'm done. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know.
I'm glad you brought up Takaba because he was. I enjoyed his small little parts in this. Like I think my favorite part was when there's like the foreign, although he is a Japanese man, but he works for a foreign military. He's like, "You sold out your country." It's like so dramatic, and I loved it so much.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
You just wanted to say that. Now shut up. I love that man.
I hope to see more of him. I don't expect a whole lot of character growth from him,
No.
but I desperately want to see him fight Sukuna and
Yeah.
just see how how they match up. I feel like
Hmm.
it'd be just so
That
perfect.
would be so great. Yeah. All right. Ready to hop into predictions?
Yes.
So, the 10-month and 10-day long bath, I guess we kind of talked, maybe we talked about all of that I wanted to talk about. And yeah, I said I don't think Sukuna will finish the bath.
Okay.
He won't have that pleasure because
Gotcha.
he will be defeated before he gets to do that. I think I also don't think that all that amount of time will pass like
Yeah.
for the rest of the
That's a
story.
lot of
It
time.
seems like it would drag on too much if that much time would pass.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like a time skip would feel weird.
I mean, look, DBZ Dragon Ball Z has done where I'll give you 2 weeks to meet me in this tournament, or was it 2 weeks or 2 years? It may have been 2 years actually.
Wow.
Either way, like there was an extended period of time where Cell, the big villain of this arc, he says, "I'm going to have a tournament to find who's truly the strongest," or something. I forget what his whole plan was, but he gave him a long period of time, and obviously it happened within like an episode or two. I guess there was some filler, but
Mm.
anyway, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, don't put it past them to have like a time skip randomly in there where they like train up. It's like, I'm ready, and
Right.
they go fight at the last day.
Yeah. The whole bath thing for Sukuna reminds me of Ganondorf in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. How he like also needed to like take a bath and like restore his former glory.
Good point. Good point.
um but yeah, the barriers are now open for all of the colonies. Uh so a lot of evil sorcerers will likely, I guess, wreak havoc in places where we hadn't expected to see evil sorcerers do evil things before, and I guess that could cause problems. Although, even if they would do that, I don't know if that it would be really relevant for the story. To be fair, because like we have so many bigger bads to deal with. So like if some, I guess, low tier villain goes to a town that wasn't within the barriers before and starts doing things, like I don't know how interesting that would be for the story.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like everyone's attention at this point is going to be placed on Skuna.
Right.
Um, Kinjaku may be doing things on the side, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe somebody will take care of him. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I feel like everyone's just going to be worried about the baddest curse of them all.
Right. I guess the fact that evil sorcerers may spread out and do bad things in unpredictable places, I guess that could work as an excuse to keep some of our good guy Jujutsu sorcerers away from the main conflict.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
to nerf the good guys for the story. Maybe Yuta or someone else and Panda and some other characters will have to
Well,
be
Panda's already
absent.
nerfed.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh.
He's a
He's a
baby. I'm
baby
just a
panda now.
baby.
Yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Oh man, I want to see baby panda again. Anyway, um,
Yeah, I know.
several characters may have to be absent from like the main conflict because they'll have to deal with those types of things, perhaps.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. How many more volumes do we have till the
There
end?
a total of 30, so 6 more.
6 more. Yeah, there could easily be a couple more fights that keep people out of Skuna's path.
For sure. I mean, 6 volumes. I think like volume one of the anime was covered or covered. I think 7 volumes, right? So it's almost that amount of volumes left. So it's like a season worth of story
Holy,
still.
wow, man. Yeah. Ah. But how many of those volumes are going to be filled with just pure action? You know,
Right. True.
that can go by pretty quickly, maybe. Although
That's
I doubt
definitely
it
could.
can. Yeah, but although I doubt he would just have a whole volume of just action chapters. That doesn't seem.
Maybe near the end. Like
Maybe.
maybe like the second to last volume is like only action. More or less.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I prefer that over giant text walls, but
Especially with all the like explaining curse techniques in
yeah,
convoluted ways.
oh.
Like I don't want any more of that.
Please. Um, here's my bold one.
Hmm.
I can't see Hana dying because unless there's just some other way that they magically think of, how else are they gonna get Gojo out?
Exactly.
I mean, maybe Gojo never comes out, but I feel like you gotta have one final confrontation with or I guess not final, just to have Gojo come back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have no doubt he will come back. It would be such a letdown if he never ends up coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So somehow they release Gojo, and I'm saying that's what's next. Next volume, Gojo.
Ooh, I hope so.
That's what I'm saying.
I love that.
Now
Ooh.
you said 6 volumes, so
Yeah.
and I didn't take that into consideration. So maybe maybe I'm a little early, but I'm gonna stick by my guns, and I'm saying Gojo next volume.
Awesome. And yeah, I had a similar. I don't have that specific of a prediction, but I was also kind of thinking about Hana or the angel surviving what she went through in this one because of her being kind of their only chance at getting Gojo back.
Yeah.
That said, though, I also kind of, or I may also enjoy the possibility of her being dead and that everything seeming lost and like Gojo, like, no way, we're never getting him back now. But then something else comes up and like another option presents itself, or somehow they find another way to free him.
What's that? Deus Max? What's that?
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah,
maybe it
Deus
would
Ex
be
Machina.
maybe it would be kind of bullshit, but yeah, no. Ultimately, I would prefer it if she is alive, and I do think that she can be, because it was even pointed out in this volume that she has an ability to kind of heal herself, I guess, better than others. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good chance that she's alive.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm all out of predictions.
Oh, okay. I got a couple more.
Shoot.
So, do you remember Takako? I forget her. Is that her last name or first name? I forget her full name. But she was the one that pulled the sky as like a screen and could do all sorts of crazy stuff with in Sendai.
Yes.
She's there, and I forgot to mention that what's his name died.
The helicopter guy?
The cannon guy. No, well, he died. Yes, he died. I don't care about him. But the guy with the hair cannon.
Oh yeah, right.
Pompadour cannon.
Right.
I think his name is just Ryu. So, he died. But Takako, I think, is still around, and I think she knows of Sukuna.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. And she sensed his presence. So maybe she won't come up, but I'm of the impression that she's gonna help out in the fight against him in some way, or at least confront him. I mean, I know she's scared out of her mind at this point, but
yeah,
I don't know. She had some interesting backstory that I think would be kind of fun to bring up.
Yeah, that's for sure. I would also like to see Higuruma again, but
oh yeah,
I'm not necessarily expecting it. I mean, we got to see him briefly, like a glimpse of him here, but I would enjoy him more because he was a character that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Just real quick, is the final encounter in Sendai? Is everyone coming to Sendai? Is that what's happening?
Is it?
I don't know. That's where they are right now. That's where Sukuna and Yorozu is. I don't know where the bath is, to be fair, but at least that's where the fighting is happening at the end of this volume. So
true.
I mean, I guess that fight could end and they go elsewhere, but it's possible that ends up Sendai being the final place.
They're just staying there for the following 6 volumes. I guess I guess it could be
It's
because
possible.
they were in Shibuya for many volumes.
Right, right. Still wondering where Utah is.
Hmm.
Did he? I guess he would still be in Sendai, wouldn't he? Or did he somehow leave
Was he in Sendai?
before that?
I forget which colony he was in, but yeah, maybe he was.
He was in Sendai.
Gotcha,
Yeah, because
gotcha.
he was with Ryu and Takako.
Mm. That's right. Yeah, maybe he'll show up there, huh?
Yeah,
That would be nice. More Utah is always a good thing.
yeah, I know. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'd always envisioned him fighting against Kenjaku for some reason,
Mm.
because that was kind of the his final fight in Zero. Although that was
Geto.
oh my gosh, Geto. Yeah, thank you. But still, I feel like it would be a good fight either way.
It would. It would. I agree.
But I guess for the short term, I predict that he's going to summon Mahoraga based on that wheel in the sky,
Right.
and Mahoraga's gonna wreck Yorozu.
Mm.
He's gonna be like, "Wow, pretty strong." Um, and because of that, I think she's kind of short lived. She may have a couple chapters, but I don't think she's long for this. I feel the pain and suffering that will be potentially inflicted on Megumi will be pretty quick.
Right. That said, though, it will, and I agree with you that I also think Sukuna will win here, and that Tsumiki's body will be destroyed somehow, like the body and the cursed sorcerer or whatever within her will die. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it will make Sukuna stronger, and we need to see
Mm-hmm.
that. I think like that's
Mm-hmm.
crucial for the climax or for the build up to the end of the story is for Sukuna to get a lot stronger.
Yeah, it's a shame that Tsumiki, if I mean, this does happen, it's a shame that that's just kind of the end of her character. We never really got to know the real her, and
Yeah.
it seemed like she was such an important part of Megumi's backstory that we just didn't really get. I mean, there's potential still, because I don't think this can be the end of Megumi. I think, I mean, I could see. I think he's going to die at this point.
Ooh.
I guess that's a bold prediction. I think he's going to die after what happened in this volume, but I don't think he's going to die yet. I think he is going to fight back in some way, whether giving up himself to keep Skuna from being fully powerful. I don't know. But there could be potential for us to have some sort of flashback of him thinking about his sister, how important she is to him, and then maybe that somehow motivates him to keep fighting. But
Mm.
um, anyway, if we don't get that, it just another one of these characters that was had promised that we just come didn't see come to fruition, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's all I have.
Gotcha. I do like your bold death prediction on Megumi though. Like in the long term, if I understood you correctly, like before the end of the story,
Yeah,
that is fun. I'm gonna say I don't think he will die, but I do think Yuji will die before the end of the story.
interesting. Yeah, I
I
mean,
kind of thought so almost from the beginning of the manga.
yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I feel like he has to be at the final fight, like the final last two chapters. He has to be there.
Mm.
I feel like.
Like Megumi
Eh,
as himself, you mean?
no, Yuji,
Or,
Yuji,
yeah,
Yuji.
yeah. No, well, I think both. I think both Megumi as himself and Yuji as himself need to be somehow present in the climax. I think.
Maybe you're right. Maybe Megumi. I'm kind of doubting myself now, but yeah, maybe Megumi won't die, or because I was actually thinking that maybe Megumi wouldn't even get out. He would just still be, possessed by Skuna, but he would just fight back in any way he could
Mm.
somehow. But that would, I mean, not necessarily new for this manga, but it would kind of be anticlimactic if he never came out, huh? If he just stayed stuck.
I think so. Yeah,
But yeah.
but yeah, we shall see.
Oh, okay. I'm a little unsure now.
We'll see. We'll see. Um, well, last question of the episode. Who was the star of the volume?
Sukuna.
Yes, I agree. It was definitely Sukuna.
Easy.
Yeah. It was a pretty easy pick for me as well. I love how he finally got to make use of that deal that he struck with Yuji
Yes.
pretty early on. Like, I loved that. And everything that followed after he really made good use of that 1 minute, and yeah, now he's rolling.
That was a really good payoff. You could tell that Akutani had been saving that for a long time.
Oh yes.
That moment, and I have no idea how much was added as he went about doing the story, and and his editor say, "Let's keep on going." Yeah.
Right.
But I could tell like that moment in particular was one that he had been keeping in his pocket for a long time, and I think it turned out really well. Especially the twist that, you said I couldn't harm anybody. You didn't say anything about yourself.
Yeah.
So it was really good stuff.
Yeah, made it really exciting, and the stakes are high.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think with that, like, saying that we basically just said about Sukuna in this volume, I think sums up kind of the big reason why I enjoyed this volume as much as I did, is really largely because of Sukuna's role in it.
Yeah. It feels like the story is really starting to progress again, more so than just resolving culling game stuff,
Exactly. And honestly, I do think that resolving the culling game and kind of letting the culling game, or clearing up the rules and making it less restrictive and less of a game, I think will be good for the for the rest of the story here, because it's been a bit of a drag, I think. Or it's been, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a bit too much.
And I feel bad, but I had this manga at an 8 for a while. I think I have to put it down to a 7. Even though I do really love this volume, and I think it's one of the better ones in a while, I think just everything that's happened has just not been as exciting and as engaging as the previous. And honestly, I part of it is that I don't like being confused as much as I am when I read this.
Right.
And so I think it just put it down a peg for me.
Fair. And it's at a 7 for me as well. It has been for maybe always. But it's I like 7 is still a great score for me, though.
Yeah, I mean, 7's good. I like it.
Right. So. Awesome. And dear listeners, let us know in the comments how you would rate this manga. And honestly, I'm curious to hear, without spoilers, of course, please and thank you, how you're enjoying this part of the story, I guess, in general, but also compared to what came before, like what was previously in the manga. I'm curious to hear people's takes on that. And yeah, I guess that's all for this time. So, if you enjoy our podcast, please share it with your friends. You'll find links to our social media in the description, and you can support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel, Umami Manga, on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 25. Bye-bye!
See you later! I think it was already done by the time people realized, wait a minute, Demon Slayer's mid. But with like My Hero Academia, it's been going on for so long that people caught up and they're like, oh no, this is stupid, and so then they hate read it.
Yeah.
Then the same with Attack on Titan.